Hello and welcome to the 5th episode of my Quest system series. In today's episode we will start with designing our Quest widgets. Let's go to our widgets folder, right click and create a new widget blueprint that we will call QuestWidget. Just so we have that created, and we will start with another widget blueprint called subwidget, and that we will open up first. Let's set that to desired on screen here and delete the canvas panel, because we will start with a border. Just call that goal border and hit the is variable. Then we will set the padding to 0. Go to brush color and decrease the alpha to 0. So our border will not be visible itself, but only its children. Then we will go to the content color and opacity and set the alpha to 0.5 there. Also set the horizontally alignment to center and vertically to center as well. Then we can add something else, and that will be a horizontal box to that border. And in there we will start with a button. Call that select button. It will be set to auto, align left and vertically to the top. Then go to the style and expand the normal. Here we will search for the goal icon. Select that. Decrease the size to 15 by 15 pixel maybe, and draw that as an image. Then we can copy the normal style, paste that for hovered, pressed and disabled, and then just modify the tint there. So let's go to hovered, and here we will select some kind of light orange tint. The hex linear code that I will use is FF7E27FF. Hit OK. Then let's go to our pressed, and here you can choose much more intense orange color if you like to. For example, FF4900FF. Hit OK. Then copy that and paste that for disabled. Also we will remove the padding for normal and the pressed padding, and expand the padding for the slot up here, and give that a padding of 4 to the top. Alright, that's it for the select button. Then we also need a text to drag on top of a horizontal box. Call that the goal text. Make sure that's a variable and set that to fill. Then you can type in some kind of default text if you want to. For example, find the key hidden on Treasure Island. Really doesn't matter. Then let's go to the color and opacity, and here I will use a grayish tone. Hex linear code that I will use will be 9D9D9DFF. Font type will be regular and the size 15 pixel. Also we will use a new feature here, and that is if you go under font, you will see the outline settings. Expand that, and now when we set the size to 1, we will have a 1 pixel outline in black color. Also set the justification to align text center, and check auto wrap text. Go to the graph and let's add some variables here. First will be the goal info for that widget. Variable type will be s_goal_info. Make that editable and expose on spawn. Then we will need a reference to the quest. So assigned quest. The type here will be master quest reference. Also make that editable and expose on spawn. Then we need a quest widget reference, which is why we created that at the beginning of this episode. Make that a quest widget reference, also editable and expose on spawn. And finally, we will need another variable called goal index, which will be an integer and you can leave it like that. Hit compile, save, and then there's one function that we need to create called update, which will just set our text. So what we'll do is drag in our goal info and break that, expand it, and off of the custom goal we will add a branch. If we define a custom goal, we will drag in the goal text and set text to the goal text of our goal info struct. And then we'll also have to set our goal index. To get that, we will drag in the assigned quest, get the quest info, break that, expand it, and off of these sub goals we will try to find our goal info. And then the return value will be our goal index. After that we can return. And then we will also need to do our false path here. So let's copy over the set text node for the goal text. But if it's not a custom goal, that means that we will use one of our predefined templates. So then for the int text we will select based on the type of the goal. So connect that to the index. And now we will have different entries for our hunt, find, and talk templates. For the custom one, just connect the goal text. Then let's do hunt first. So off of hunt, search for format text. And the in format will be hunt. Then hit spacebar, add a curly bracket, type in enemy name, close the curly bracket, open another one, type in S question mark. So that will basically define whether we have to add an S to indicate that it's the plural form, so that we have to hunt more than one of these enemies. Then close the curly bracket, add a colon, hit spacebar, open another curly bracket, type in hunted, close that, add a slash, and open the last curly bracket and type in required. Then close that and hit enter. The enemy name will be the additional name that we can type in for our quest. For the S, let's add another select node. And the index here will be that our amount to hunt is greater than 1. Connect that to the index. And then you can right click on either the true, false, or return value. Change pin type to text. So if our amount is greater than 1, means that we have to add an S. So just type in S for true and nothing for false. Then connect the return value to S question mark. For the amount of enemies that we already hunted, you will have to get the assigned quest and search for amount, get current hunted amount, connect that to hunted, and required will be the amount to hunt from our S goal info. Alright, that's it for this format. For our find template we will also add a format, but that will be much easier. Here the format will just be find base the space and then in curly brackets object name. Also let's add an exclamation mark after the curly brackets, and let's also do that in our hunt template. For the object name, just connect the additional name. Then let's copy over the format, connect that to talk, and here the format will be talk space 2 space, and the object name will be the NPC name. Then again connect the additional name. Okay, so after we set the text for our templates, we will just go to the set goal index and to the return node. Now we can hit compile and save. Then we'll go to the event graph and call our update function on event construct. And that's all we'll have to do for now. So we can close that and go to our QuestWidget. Here again, set the settings to desired on screen and kill the canvas panel. And here we will start with a size box. And the setting here that we'll check is maximum desired width. Set that to 500 pixel, basically meaning that this widget will never become larger than 500 pixels in width. After that, add a border. For the padding, let's type in 20,0. And let's go to the brush. For the image, search for border. That will be the text border here. Draw that as a box. And we will have to set the margin. For left, you can just type in 1 divided by 2.8. That is just how this texture is set up. So with the margin you basically define what parts of the texture will be tiled when this is scaled. To define that we will have to type in 1 divided by 2.8 for left, copy that for the right, and for top and bottom we can type in 1 divided by 3. Then we will add a vertical box to that border and start with the text, which will be the quest name. Make that a variable. For the default text, type in whatever you want. I will type in something like the wild hunt. Set that font type to bold italic and the size to 22 maybe. Let's also give that an outline of 1 pixel. Set the justification to align text center. Make sure that we check the auto wrap text. And let's go to behavior and uncheck the is enabled by default. Then let's add a vertical box to our first vertical box. Set that to horizontally align center and vertically to the top. Call that our sub goal box and make sure that is set to be a variable. Now we can go to the event graph and again add some variables here. The first one will be a reference to the quest manager. So the variable type will be BP quest manager reference, editable and expose on spawn. Then we'll need an assigned quest as well. That will be a BP master quest reference, same as in our sub goal. Also editable and expose on spawn. Next one will be sub goal widgets. That will be a sub goal widget reference array. And the last one will be selected sub goal. That will just be a sub goal widget and not an array. Then you can hit compile and save. First function that we'll need to create is called generate subwidgets. What that will do is first clear our subgo widgets array. Afterwards drag in our subgoal box and clear that. Then let's get our assigned quest and off of that get the current goals. Now we will launch a for each loop, and for all of our current goals we will create a widget of the class subGoalWidget. The goal info will come from our array element. The assigned quest will be our assigned quest, and the quest widget will be a reference to ourselves. Connect the loop body to the creation here. Then drag in our subGoalWidgets array and add to it the return value. And finally we will need to add that to our subgoal box. So let's copy that over. Search for add child. Then connect the return value to the content. After we completed the loop, we can return. The next function we'll need to create will be called update quest. And here we will first check that our assigned quest is valid. If it's not, we will instantly return. But if it is, we will drag in our quest name and set text. For the in text, we will need to get the quest info of the assigned quest. Then let's break that somewhere down here and connect the name. Further, we will set color and opacity of that text. Off of the in color and opacity, make slate color. And for the specified color, we will select one. The index here will be the category of a quest, so that different types of quests have different colors and can therefore be distinguished. Now you can select a color for all of the quests. For the main quest, I will use the hex linear code FF05F00FF. So some kind of orange again. For the side quest, I will use a blue color, which you can get with the hex linear code 747AFFFF. And for events, I will use some kind of red color, FF3122FF. Then hit OK. After we specified some kind of color, we will generate our subgoals and afterwards return. So temporarily that's it for our quest widget. Then we'll also have to put our quest widgets in our main widget. So let's go there. Let's add a size box first. Anchor that to the top right corner. Let's call that quest list size box. Set the alignment in X to 1. And the position then will be 12 in X and 312 in Y, so that it appears directly beneath the map. Let's check size to content here. And the width override will set to 500. And the maximum desired height we can set to 700. Then we will add a scroll box to that size box, which will just be called quest list, and that will be a variable. File save, go to the graph, and here let's add a function called add quest to list. It will have an input which will be the quest actor. Make that a BP master quest reference, and let's give that an output which will be a quest widget reference, just called widget. So that will be the widget that we created specifically for that quest. Then let's add a variable, and that will be the quest widgets. Make that a quest widget reference array. And the first thing in our function is to check that our quest actor is actually valid. If not, add a return node and leave the widget as null. But if it is, let's create a widget, this time of the class QuestWidget. The quest manager will be our quest manager reference, and the assigned quest will come from our in-quest actor. Then we will add that to our quest widgets array. Drag in our quest list and add child. Content will again be the return value. Now we also have to modify the slot settings of our return value, but to do that we first have to cast it to a scroll box slot. But since we know that this will never fail, we can convert that to a pure cast. Then we need to modify the horizontal alignment, set that to center, and we'll also modify the padding. Here we can right click, split that, and for top let's type in 8. So there is a gap of 8 pixels between every quest. Then connect that to the return value, and for the widget, drag to the create quest widget node. Compile and save. Now we can close that. And actually one thing that we'll probably need in the next episode is to go to our blueprints, actors, quest actors, BP master quest, and here we will need to create a new variable called QuestWidget. Variable type, of course, will be QuestWidget reference, and let's actually put that in the category do not touch. Then we can hit compile, save, and that's it for this episode. See you in the next one.